Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for October 31st, 2021, Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Watch yourself today very closely for any negativity. If you encounter a serious negative emotional pull, imagine a red stop sign jumps out in front of your face. Stop buying into the dramatic story of this negativity and step out of the game. Become aware of pure awareness itself. This is the secret to always burning through the limiting illusions and games that our minds play with us. Commit to taking all that negative energy and transform it into creative love for yourself by simply choosing to. You can do this right now. It's very instant. Man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. All that befalls a man, all that befalls any of us, all that is done by him, all that comes from him, happens as a result of his state of consciousness. A man's consciousness is all that he thinks and desires and loves. All that he believes is true and consents to. That is why a change of consciousness is necessary before you can change your outer world. Oh, God. Have you ever wondered why one person walking down a dark alley at night will get mugged while the previous person goes by untouched? Bad things may happen to apparently good people, and good things happen to seemingly bad people, all based upon the level of energy that they are vibrating at the time. We are all like this huge sending and receiving tower that is constantly transmitting a certain frequency into the universe. Our thoughts and feelings create an energetic vibration that is sent out into the world. This vibration is then reflected back to us by the universe, producing physical results in our personal world. What we send out is absolutely exactly what we get back. What we send out is exactly, absolutely what we get back. Our body is always sending out a specific frequency of energy. The frequency of energy our body and mind tend to vibrate at will attract or repel the thing that you currently desire. If it is expansive, inspirational, and positive, it will magnetize similar vibrational experiences back to you, such as amazing opportunities, positive-minded people, prosperous situations. Now, on the other hand, when we are sending out the energy of doubt, frustration, or fear, we tend to magnetize very difficult and challenging experiences that make us suffer endlessly. Now, a lot of people say, well, I know all this. I know all this. Well, do they? Or is that just the ego talking? In order to really move energy into form, create a reality, manifest what your heart is yearning for in this life, simply and consistently emit a high positive vibration. This happens by tapping into those thoughts and feelings that make you feel great about life. Whatever you continuously focus your attention on is what grows and is what you'll be manifesting more of down the road. We all know, at least we know to a certain extent, we're all born as manifesting machines, creating machines. We cannot stop manifesting as long as we have a body. We naturally attract whatever we are focusing our attention upon. See, why do you feel that the reason that the lower dark matter, survivor matter frequencies have contained this civilization for so long? Why? Because they get them to believe certain things. That's all the power they need to rule over them. You believe it, you're going to create it. That's the bottom line. You send those belief thoughts out. You have external authority sitting there telling you this, and this over and over again. You begin to believe it, you're going to create it. Our bodies are like the engine of this magical machine. And our minds, the brakes, gas, and steering wheel. So this magical manifesting fuel is spirit, which is something we cannot lose, create, or need to fill up. It is forever flowing inside you as you. It is your essential nature. And no matter what you do, think or believe, you can never lose the connection with this divine fuel inside you. And sure, it can get buried beneath many layers of muck created by the mind, yet once you investigate the source of any block and truly uncover its mask, you'll discover the block was never real to begin with. It was all imagined. Only passions, great passions, can elevate the soul to great things. Dennis Degeroff. All our problems are created between our ears. And to go even deeper, as the great master sage Ramana Maharishi once said, all your problems stem from the belief that you were born. All of your problems stem from the belief that you were born. You are an eternal being that cannot die. So truly, you were never born. All attachment to this body, this mind, these beliefs that you were born imply that you are separate from your spiritual source. To step into the all-powerful manifesting being you truly are. Simply surrender all false ideas and be one with this source. As you devote yourself to knowing yourself as the divine, all-powerful manifesting being you truly are, you will see that anything is possible. The great manifesting master is ready to be integrated into each of our lives. The more understanding we have about the basics and foundational manifesting principles, the easier it is to discover the manifesting master within and what we most need to know and experience. And experience the magic everywhere we go. We always attract exactly what we most need to know and experience. Some experiences we have in this life are simply old repressed thought forms trying to bubble up from the depths of our subconscious to be healed and liberated. Whatever experience you may manifest in this life is yours and a result of your thoughts, feelings, and energetic frequency. The fact that you are listening to this right now means you are ready to receive it. When you're able to keep your mind on what you truly desire for even a few minutes a day, you will manifest it into your life at the speed of light. Learning how to hold your attention on one thing in a focused and yet non-rigid way for an extended period of time is your first manifesting secret. Discovering the spiritual being within you is the key to cultivating this focused attention. What is most needed to achieve this monumental feat is a gentle, curious, and constant exploration of the truth of who and what you really are. This is something that cannot be described in words, yet the adventure to reveal this great gem within it is why you're actually here. Turn your attention and open your heart towards the feelings of joy, gratitude, peace, and love. Let yourself go deeply into this positive sensation for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Use your breath as your happy pump, meaning with each inhalation breath, enjoy. Hold it for a moment. Then exhale and release this joy, spreading it all over the world. Simply play with this exercise, and above all, have fun with it. The mind turned inwards is the self. Turned outwards, it becomes the ego and all the world for Maharishi. In each moment of this life, we all have the choice to respond to life from a completely new, alive, and freeing space that is born in the now. Or we can react from an older unconscious conditioned pattern that stems from a past story. The choice is always yours in each second if you respond from a fresh place of freedom or from a past conditioning. The type of story we are talking about is not that enjoyable fantasy fairy tale story that we all enjoy listening to around the campfire. It's that one that we drag around like an old ball and chain attached to a heavily shielded yet wounded heart. The famous victim story is one most of us know all too well. It's the one that is fixated on how another wronged us, or how we are struggling with money, or unable to find the love of our life, or create the career we really want. We often unconsciously believe that by repeating the story over and over again, it will help us to escape it, transcend it, or feel better about our poor, lonely, victimized self. What really happens is that by repeating what we don't want to manifest in our lives, we simply become more wrapped up in the ego's illusions of being trapped, helpless, and powerless. Good news is that we always have the power to transcend our story if we can become conscious enough to see who or what is truly creating it. It's good to know that all of our stories were created by some life event, big or small, that actually happened. The event naturally occurred, then the mind took over and invented its specific, special, positive, or negative meaning on top of the actual event. So we invite you to take this entire week to write down and notice all the stories you tend to repeat in your mind and to other people. It is a very powerful, life-changing exercise. Notice if they are positive or negative stories. And who would you be without any of these stories? These stories stick because something happened in your life that your mind judged as wrong or absolutely always right, and found some sort of peace within that perception. However, when you hold on to any thought or idea about life too tightly, you become overly attached and miss this amazing universe that's happening now. Attachment always leads to some future suffering, and it's always your choice if you want to be free and manifest more of amazing goodies, or be stuck with the same old small tune. Keeping a story from your past alive takes a lot of work and will drain all your energy. It will keep you living in the illusion and never awaken to the divinity within your being. This illusionary mind loves to create stories about stories. Heck, you may even be creating a story about this exploration of stories. The reality is that you are not this mind, nor your ego, nor your body, and certainly not an accumulation of all your stories. You are much more than can be expressed in words. You are an infinite soul beyond the ideas of freedom and love. You are and always will be so much vaster than any story your ego could invent. You will continue to exist long after this story has been forgotten by you and the world. Your being is naturally expansive and completely free. You have just been covering up your true infinite nature with stories. Now, the tricky part in transcending any story is that our ego loves the drama of an emotionally juicy adventure. It's like chocolate ice cream to a child. Our life's traumas and deep issues are so personal, wild, crazy, and feel so real that they often make us feel unique and that we are even someone superior or special. The truth is that everyone was born uniquely super special, and we all have the same core issues deep inside. These core issues are about being unloved, unwanted, abandoned, and unworthy. What a great recipe to instigate massive transformation in one's lifetime. You may find yourself sticking to these issues because the mind gets busy entertaining the victim's story instead of being truly curious about recognizing your divine infinite nature. These personal issues can make up a major part of who you think you are. So to let go of them in many ways can feel like a letting go of your entire identity. If you dropped the story, you would have to do the scariest thing of all. You'd need to be you would need to totally reinvent yourself. Maybe this isn't such a bad thing. You could choose only to be loved, free, powerful, and without any limitations. Is this a challenge to you? Is it a challenge you would be willing to take on? Letting go of your story may feel like dying. Yet, in the end, there is no death without some kind of rebirth. So how does one truly transcend their story? Just watch it. Don't participate in it. Notice if you are focusing on what you want or don't want. See how present you are to the now moment, or just reprogramming yourself with more illusions from your past. The experience you have will always be created from your personal interpretation and universal perception. If you find that you are really stuck putting energy into how you aren't enough of this or that, and you may simply need some tools to shift your experience. Now, over the next 7 days, use all 3 of these story-stopping techniques that I will share. If you find one that works better than the others, then use that one all week long. Yet try all 3 techniques and see how each changes and challenges you in its own unique way. The first one, stop telling your story. When you hear yourself telling somebody your famous story that makes you feel small, powerless, or less than divine, immediately stop yourself, even if you are in mid-sentence. As soon as you stop repeating your story, you stop giving it energy, and the story soon withers away. Imagine a big red stop sign in front of you and simply stop the mouth from talking. Don't move a muscle. Be absolutely still and silent. And investigate deeper inside to discover where this story is coming from and what this part of you actually is yearning to feel, be, do, or have. Become an archaeologist explorer and start digging. If you are socializing while you are storytelling and you need some place to do the digging, gently remove yourself from the situation, go sit in the bathroom and investigate the source of this saboteur. It is worth it. These stories can ruin your life or transform it. If you take time to really look at your stories, you'll discover what it takes to transcend them completely. By simply seeing how your story is an illusion of the past that the ego is stubbornly holding on to, you are instantly free of it. Take 5 steps back from your story. Freedom comes from finding the space between you and your story. When your story arises and you feel it pulling you in, imagine that you are taking 5 large steps back away from your story. Just as if you were stepping back from an angry person, growling dog, or some feisty child who has had too much sugar. Take one small step if you cannot take a large one. And with each step, take a deep breath. Deep breath of air, and become the observer. Look at your story like you were watching a movie or TV show. Recognize that it is just that, some drama being played over and over on your ego's video screen. Now that you are separate from the story, it is easier to see the truth of it and be free from it. Replace your story with gratitude. When you identify the story that you are most attached to, the one you repeat most often, each time you start repeating it, simply state one thing that you are grateful for instead. Refocus your mind on what is working in your life and what you are grateful for right now. There are literally thousands and thousands of things that you can be grateful for, no matter where you are or who you are. You can be grateful that the sun rose this morning to heat our planet, that you have clean drinking water, or that you are breathing with life in this moment instead of dying. The list goes on and on and on. Just look around at this world and notice the beauty, detail, and the exquisite abundance. The more time you spend in gratitude, the faster your ego stories will die and become distant memories. When you are in a place of gratitude, you automatically send out positive energetic vibrations, which in turn magnetize to you the kind of positive, uplifting things you want to manifest. Once you leave your story behind, you can see the truth of your existence and experience total freedom from your ego's suffering and limiting beliefs. This exercise will help you be liberated once and for all from your stories. Go for it. You can do it. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted, and I am sure that we all are. And the first thing that we care to do is relax our bodies, head to toe, inside and out, fully. We are not the body. We are not the name. We are not the ego, the mind, the subconsciousness. We are the God. Each and every single one of us in the body, so to speak. So we know that the body and the ego mind attract all kinds of magnetized thoughts, worries, stresses, fears, anxieties, all kinds of things. None of us are exempt from it. And when we're aware of this from a position of gratitude, then we end the stories. The stories leave us. And you know when your body relaxes because the body becomes light. And you focus on your breath. We always focus on the breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Easy. And what does the breath do? It calms the body. It relaxes the body. It eases the body. It strengthens the body. And by doing this, you leave the mind, the ego, and the subconscious mind alone. You just leave them alone. You don't visit them. You're a watcher. In the now. Always focused on the breath. Now we know that we are consciously aware to a certain extent. We are consciously aware that we are of and from the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest eternal love, gratitude, peace. And we know that in the body, there are these lights. They run up the center of the spinal column, it's at the tailbone to the top of the head. Now, these lights aren't something you can pick up and toss. These lights are known as chakras. Chakra is a wheel. Chakra means wheel. These are wheels of light. They're etheric spiritual energy. They're housed in the body. They are our conduits. We are etheric spiritual energy, the gods that we are. So we travel through these 24/7. And they're connected to all the organs, all the flows. They're connected to all the emotions, everything that we are. And the God that we are flows through. We have the most intimate understanding and knowledge of these bodies that we're in than anybody could possibly imagine. Right down to the quantum quark. And eventually, we will come to the understanding that we are the power of healing. And we'll eventually be able to heal these bodies in the blink of the eye. Now picture, if you will, 3 golden circles. One on the left, one in the center, one on the right. You're standing in front of them, right? Now you notice that the one in the center, which is the now, is beautiful. It's vibrating, golden, white light and everything, sparkling. Actually, it looks like it hasn't hardly even used. And the one on the left, which is the past, has been really worn. And the one on the right, which is the future, has been really worn. Now, we all reminisce. We have, things spark our thought. We experience, we review experiences past, in our lives that we've enjoyed, and we kind of revisit. But then we put it away. And we move on. There's some of us will stay there, in that reminiscing, in that past, dead. It was now moments, now gone. The only thing we extract from it is that we carry the experiences. So we keep the experience locked up in our subconscious mind. And we visit them on occasion. But some of us just stay there, and we just live it over again. And we do it so long that we end up taking that past, bring it into a future that doesn't exist, creating that future from that past and reliving that past and that future. This is why a lot of people will say, no matter what we do, we always end up here. Now, I don't believe any of us are exempt from that to certain extents, but I think the majority of us don't. We decide not to do that. You know, same with the future. We create the future in the now, but we still travel on that right path. We'll go into a future that doesn't exist, and we'll ask, why hasn't this happened? You know, why haven't I got promotion? Why don't I have a better job? When am I going to make enough money? When am I going to be able to do things I want to do? When am I going to be healthier? Can you see the path of suffering? Whether it be the past or the future. Because we have expectations, we have attachments, and we suffer. But what about the now? In the now, you don't suffer. You can't. Because you're only focused on the breath, the moment. But how do we stay in the now? Because we generate over 60,000 plus thoughts ourselves, each of us, per day. These are thoughts we generate. Then we have outside of us, we have tens of millions of programmed thoughts that float by us like clouds in the sky, like a superhighway. And we'll grab not like, oh, I'm going to grab that thought, but we just kind of, latch onto one and float off. And they're not our thoughts. And when we do that, we're not in the now. It is important to always be gentle, kind, generous, and humble. And in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest of the purest, purest, gratitude, 24/7. So that when we do float off into another thought, we focus on our breath and we are in the now. Now here you go. Mine, of course, is going to say, oh, now's boring. What do you want to be in the now for? Go over here with me. Let's go in the past or the future. Because that's where the ego mind likes to go. Doesn't like the now. Likes the past or the future. And when we're in the now, we still the mind, the ego, and the subconscious mind. Why would we not want to be in the now? Oh, it's boring, the ego mind says. Boring. They don't want to be in the now. It's boring. It's quite the opposite, quite frankly. It's exciting. Moment to moment. No mind chatter. No noise. Now, we know that the soul that we are, that enters these bodies, powers the body, everything goes online, and breath is created. We also know that without the breath, we wouldn't be in these bodies because the body couldn't sustain us. And we know that the soul that we are, the God, the spirit, the higher self, it's all one, is the heaven. The body, earth, heaven on earth. We also know that every step we take, we're creating paradise, literally, in this new earth. And we're shining our light 24/7, 360 degrees out. Beaming, beautiful, deep, eternal, white, golden light. And we're blasting everything and everyone. All life, the highest supreme value universe, everywhere we go. And even everywhere we don't go. It saturates this planet, on it, in it, above it, and below it, and beyond. And we also are aware that there are parts of us, the gods that we are, that are asleep. They'll wake up in their own time. They're with us because they're part of us, but they don't participate in meditations because they're asleep. So we gravitate towards parts of ourselves that are consciously aware, awake, to a certain extent. And that's all the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. That's the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes. That's the ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Morya, Vedantia, Pel, Thoth. Yahweh, Yeshua. So all the galactics, off-worlders, celestials, all the loved ones who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited, all the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, and beneath earth. And these numbers are in the Gugaplexes. And we are connected. We're one. And one Gugaplex fills this universe with not even 1 square inch of sacred space to spare. And they come in trillions of Gugaplexes from trillions of universes. A being could be 1 billion light years away from where your body is, yet the God within that body is part of that being. And that being is part of the God that you are. Now, the archangels, they're a civilization that vibrated at a different frequency than we do. That's why we don't see them like we see each other. But we meet with them. We meet with them every lifetime. We meet with them quite a bit. It's just that we just don't recognize it every time. The times we do is usually after the interaction, and we just say to ourselves that that was an angel. And you discover that's a little bit of bliss. Now, they deliver the same message, but in many different ways. And when you decipher the many different ways, it comes to this. Isn't it absolutely spectacular, stupendous, and magna-glorious to be alive in these bodies? To taste, to smell, to laugh, to cry. It is a wonderful thing. It is absolutely spectacular. And it is bliss. That's why that they can surround any one of us at any one time in the tens of thousands, tens of millions. Because of their vibrational frequency, they can hold a large number in a small area. And ascended masters, they have mastered physical. They have mastered ascending into physical and physical, and they have ascended out of physical, and they hold pure consciousness, God form. We have ascended into physical and are mastering physical, creating our experiences to perfect our creation. Now, the off-worlders, the galactics, the celestials, we're only familiar with like a smidgen of them. Over 1,000 species travel through the solar system every day. Trillions throughout the universes every day. And the group that we're somewhat familiar with is the Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, Feline, Zeta Reticuli, Anunnaki, Nords, Greys, Draco Reptilian, Golden Pyramid, Avian. And this particular troop has been assisting us in our evolution, in our enlightenment, ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. And all light energy beings that or on in, above and below this planet Earth, Gaia, this now, they come in shapes, color, sizes, forms, and configurations which we don't see because of our eyes. The eyes that we have with these bodies only see 1% of what is. But we're familiar with a handful: the fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, Pegasus, unicorn, centaur, minotaur, and many, many, many more. And we're all gathered arm in arm, hand in hand, in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one, and we're all God, and we're all love. And our God force, love, light, energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand. We immediately form a circle of light around this planet, the equator of it, Earth, Gaia, Arya, in this now. This light emanates from the kingdom of God, the God source. You, all of us in these bodies. It is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest, deepest, and the purest, purest. Eternal love. And it is flooding this planet. And it is flooding all life, the highest supreme value in the universe. It is flooding those awake and those that are asleep. We begin to ascend above the planet. We're immediately met with a massive ocean of glitter. It is everywhere. And the reflection is like a huge ballroom globe of mirrors, except this one is about 1 trillion times larger and 1 trillion times more intense. And so we see all these colors we've never seen before flashing and reflecting everywhere with all of the hundreds of millions of us on and off world gathered. And so we go, and since we're so curious, we go and we see these reflective points, and we see these little tiny microscopic mirrors, perfectly etched. We enter them, and we discover that all of us, all life, no matter how it's housed, we are learning and teaching and learning from each other, with each other, on a continual basis. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what houses the life. It matters what message the life has for each of us. And since we're so distracted in the physical material world of this illusionary universe, this synthetic construct, we miss out on so much. So the next time something or someone comes into your life, rather than judge the surface, ask yourself what they're there to teach you, what you're to learn from them. And you be silent, and it'll come to you. We're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that we are the power of healing. You're then met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We are then met with the white fire. This is a column of light that we all created to remind ourselves that from head to toe, inside and out, we are imbued with a white fire armor, and nothing like the armor would be on this planet, way beyond that. This white fire emanates from the God force love light energy within each and every single one of us. It is the highest of the highest high, the purest of the purest purest, and the deepest of the deepest deepest eternal love. It can't be manipulated, seduced, doesn't lose its power or energy, is impenetrable. No attachments, no demon possessions, no lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies of any kind. They can't associate or be near us. They vaporize. They're too low frequency. They can't hold their shape or form. But only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, your anger, fear, hatred, greed, envy, hurriedness, revenge, you will lower your vibrational frequency low enough to create a breach in your white fire armor. Enough so to allow lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. And then you have all kinds of possibilities. Possibility of possession, possibility of attachment, many different kinds. Now, if you do decide to do this, you're immediately met with a double column of light. And the first part of the column is the purple transmuting flame. We created this column to remind us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can transmute all the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness where they are no more. We are then met with the other half of that column of light, the violet ray. We created this column of light to remind us all that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame. We can cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, and restoring our vibrational harmony of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. Then we're met with the golden white pink light. This is the column of light that we created that reminds us all that the gods within us are the sunlight. The sun sets and the sun rises. The rain, the rainbows, the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams, the trees, the forests, the soils, the animals, the skies, the clouds, everything. We are everything, and everything is us. So the next time you view a sunset, a sunrise, a rainbow, an ocean front, a mountain view, it is you, the God within that body. You're the beauty. You're the majesty. You're the divineness. You're the spectacularness. It has always been the gods that we are. Always will be, ever, beyond, and forever. We continue to ascend above the planet. Some of us step outside our physical forms, hover effortlessly above them, obviously, if we're carrying physical form. Why do we do this? Because we can. We come into full contact with this massive crystalline light tower that we all created. It's huge. It's larger than the solar system and beyond. Now, in the center of the column, we see this massive oblong sphere. Center of the sphere is a golden white bowl of light. It is surrounded by numerous rings of multicolored light. And we notice that they're all sending this massive cloud, this mist. It's sparkling, looks electric, and it absorbs within us, on us, in us, above us, and below us. And it's like a warm embrace that never ends. And the golden white bowl of light is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest, eternal love. Then comes gratitude and peace, well-being, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss and joy. Tranquility, benevolence, great prosperity, great abundance. It's all there. It's endless. And then we discovered that it is us. It is the gods within these bodies. It is a reflection of us. And it's never ending. We designed this column so that at the top we can have the cascading golden ocean coming down 360 degrees, as it's doing right now and has been doing for an eternity. And this is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest eternal love. Flooding all life, the highest supreme value in the universe, whether awake or asleep. We are drops of this golden ocean. We hold the essence of this golden ocean. Drops of the golden ocean and drops. And the only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere. It sets center circle. We created this sphere going on 4 years ago. It holds over 1,600 of our meditations in perpetual motion. Every day, moving towards 4 years. Hundreds of millions of us on and off world. The greatest of the greatest, intense, is soul complete liberation of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. And the civilizations. To a higher frequency, to deep eternal love, gratitude, and peace. And it's flooding us. These meditations don't wane, they don't weaken, they don't dissipate. They do the opposite. They intensify and they expand, thereby flooding us constantly. You ever want to tap into them? Go to a quiet place. Just be. Focus on the breath, and you will. Acceptance will make you more relaxed and at ease if self-acceptance comes in a trickle or a downpour. Then that are right for you. Acceptance is the key to releasing all suffering and issues of avoidance or attachment. Allow yourself to accept everything that occurs today. This is not about being a doormat for the world. This is about following your heart with inspired actions all day long and accepting whatever shows up in your experience. Become an acceptaholic who accepts everyone exactly as they are and yourself exactly as you are in this now. I join you in meditation and return to close us out.
Take an easy breath in through the nose and an easy breath out the mouth. Move easily and slowly. When meditating, if you experience an increasing feeling of lightness, go with it. Weave it into your body and ground it into your chakras. It is best to stay centered and integrate your experiences than to get lost in the thoughts they produce. The greatest meditators blend heaven and earth at all times with a deep knowingness that they are this connected infinite source of goodness. Meditate today, sometime for 60 minutes, staying with the thought, letting everything be exactly as it should be. After you're done, soak in this feeling, idea, and experience through the rest of your day, evening, night, and the following morning. We will return here Monday, November 1st, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call.